Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Tension is rising in Mount Kenya because William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua have planned for a 3-day development tour. That is what they call it in that region. Statement from State House reveals that William Ruto will lead a delegation and they will be touring Murang'a, Nyeri, and Kiambu counties. That is what we've been told. And the media is reporting that this is coming against a backdrop of rising discontent in Mount Kenya. Remember, William Ruto became the president of this country courtesy of the votes from Mount Kenya. They voted for William Ruto to the man. Of course, I've heard people say that quite a number of residents there voted for Raila, but the vote was stolen. I don't know how true that is, but the truth is William Ruto hoodwinked the youth there that they were hustlers and they voted for William Ruto. Now, this visit is different from the last time we witnessed William Ruto and Rigathi engage in a development tour in Mount Kenya. One, we saw Rigathi Gachagua negotiate for a feast at Sagana Lodge where residents were treated to some delicacy of rice and meat. Of course, people really criticized this move and they were saying that when William Ruto visits other areas, he delivers tangible development programs there. Yet when he goes to Central, all that he delivers is a delicacy, something that will not help them. The other thing that is notable or noticeable is the fact that the last time William Ruto was in Mount Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, Ndindi Nyoro, Kimani Chungwa, and a host of other leaders had a reason and a topic to talk about, and this was Hatutaki handshake. Remember, this was happening at the same time when the National Dialogue Committee was going on with the negotiations in Bomas. The other side, Raila side, being led by Kalonzo Musyoka, and the government side being led by Kimani Chungwa. And so they had something to tell the people that Raila wanted to get to the government through the back door. He wanted a handshake, and that he was engaging in street demonstrations to spoil people's businesses. Now, things are very different today. As William Ruto heads to Mount Kenya, number one, there are no demonstrations, yet businesses have closed. And members are asking, why are businesses closing, yet people are not going for demonstrations? Number two, the National Dialogue report is complete, and Raila has encouraged the members of Azimio to embrace the report in its entirety. So there will not be any other campaign about this guy wants to get to the government through the back door. So things are very different, as they say, vindu vichenjanga. And I was following this intended visit very closely. There are a number of things that already the leaders of Mount Kenya have lined up. And one of them is that they are mentioning a 6 billion coffee debt that they want waived. I think this is rising as a result of, I remember when William Ruto went to Nyanza, and of course the other part of Western, in the regions, the sugar belt regions, he waived for them some debt there. And the people of Mount Kenya complained that they're the ones who voted for William Ruto. If William Ruto can afford to waiver or to waive some debts in other regions, then they deserve it much. So they have lined up that they want this 6 billion coffee debt to be waived. Number two, they are complaining about poor and a drop in returns in the agricultural sector. The returns in coffee and tea and pyrethrum, and they want this to be addressed. These are some of the things that they have lined up, and they expect that William Ruto will talk about them. Remember, Rigathi was committed and had committed to deal with cartels in the coffee and tea sector, but it seems it is not a walk in the park for him. So William Ruto is going back there, and they want to William to address this. The other thing that they have lined up is that they are saying that there's a lot of cattle and crop theft, and they want to be this to be addressed. I think it's a security issue, and I don't know how they are waiting for the president to handle some of these things. Yet they are shareholders. They should have done this long time ago. The other mega issue that is waiting William Ruto in that region is the issue of the land that was supposed to be ceded by Del Monte. The Del Monte company is supposed to cede some hectares of land, and already there are names that have been submitted from Gatanga, Kandara, and Maragua, those areas. There are people who are supposed to be compensated. And already there is a controversy. The National Assembly Committee on Land gave a report of the part of the land that is supposed to be given by Del Monte. But what they have and what the governors have, for example, Wamatangi is saying that he's only been given from Del Monte about 1,400 hectares, but the report indicates that about 4,000 hectares have been given out. So already there is a controversy, and these people are saying that they want a structured method on how much land is going to be given to them, at what point, because they don't want this to wait. So these are some of the things waiting for William Ruto. The other one is property titling. For example, their land. They are saying that there are cartels that involve even senior government officers that want to ensure that they thwart and they frustrate the process of giving title deeds and title to properties so that they can benefit. The last thing, because I was just mentioning, but a few things that they have lined up. They're also saying that there is a deliberate effort to profile members of the Kikuyu community as Mungiki. On 31st of January, about 23 members of some elders were arrested while they were practicing some cultural practice, and they were taken to cells, and they were being accused of being Mungiki, and they're saying this must stop. So, ladies and gentlemen, as William Ruto heads to Mount Kenya, these are some of the things that they have lined up for William Ruto. But on Ruto's side, what exactly do you think is taking William Ruto there? Because it is also happening against the backdrop of wrangles between the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, and Ndindi Nyoro. There's kind of sibling rivalry and a supremacy battle in that region. The leaders from Murang'a feel that it is the right time for Ndindi Nyoro to take over the mantle. Yet those from Nyeri are saying Rigathi has been tried and tested. He is the senior most government official in that region, and therefore he's the ultimate kingpin. Even though they have tried to quell tempers, Ruto once said that this supremacy battle must stop. Insiders indicate that they are trying to put a brave face. This is just PR, but deep inside, there's a lot of competition going on, and William Ruto likes it because he wants to checkmate Rigathi Gachagua. So what exactly is taking Ruto in Mount Kenya? Number one, ladies and gentlemen, this is a region that voted for William Ruto. He needed the Mount Kenya votes to get to power. Those who are saying that votes were rigged, you rig, but you must also create, some kind of picture that there's a region that you control. Like they said, they were controlling Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. So you needed this. I want you to picture in a situation where Mount Kenya voted largely against William Ruto. He wouldn't have the audacity to maybe rig in quotes as people put it. And William Ruto needs these votes in 2027 if he has to capture power for the second as a second president, because the country is tired of him. He promised the Mama Mboga, he promised the watu wa boda boda heaven, and he told them that he will reduce the cost of living. He accused Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. But is the situation the same? Things are very different, because everything that he promised has now been put, it is water under the bridge, and they're accusing William Ruto of fallacy and using this as a campaign gimmick. So he's going there to try and convince them that he's still the man who is supposed to lower down the cost of living. He's still the man who, thinks of them, the man who will take care of their affairs. Remember, even as we speak today, Ruto has been accused that he has never launched a program that he initiated. He's always launched programs that were initiated by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the man whom they accused to have neglected Mount Kenya. So he's got a lot of pressure, but he's going there to convince them that he is still the man. This is the region that is yearning for their own party. In fact, many claim that UDA is not their house. UDA belongs to the Rift Valley, and they are telling their people to look for their own formation. Of course, there is DP, Jubilee, everyone there has a party. And William Ruto is going to stamp his authority because he still wants to remain a kingpin in that area. Remember, he wants Mount Kenya to unite, but he does not want Mount Kenya to unite around Rigathi Gachagua, because he understands too well that the day Rigathi Gachagua will be in control of Mount Kenya, that will be the beginning of his woes. It will be woe unto him, the beginning of his problems and predicaments. So he's at a dilemma. He wants Mount Kenya to unite, but only unite around him. Will he be able to succeed in stamping his authority? Do you think if elections were to be done today, if the elections were to be held today, would they still vote for William Ruto? Because we have seen people, the hustlers, coming out and saying we are tired, we were cheated. Songs have been composed against William Ruto. What will happen? Number two, there is Uhuru factor, the rising influence of Uhuru Kenyatta. You've seen people like Muthoni wa Mushomba. You've seen, in fact, Kiambu itself is hot potato to William Ruto. Muthoni wa Mushomba has come out publicly to criticize William Ruto in what she says is dictatorship, the affordable housing, and how he intends to acquire their ancestral land, and that when they build houses in those lands, it will be the houses will be sold to a private developer, but they will not have. How will they benefit as a community? Just the other day, the former Kiambu governor, Ferdinand Waititu Babayao, accused William Ruto of cheating them, that they were to become running mates. In other words, there are leaders who are saying William Ruto duped them. You remember, even Kabogo said that he wonders how people voted William Ruto, that they left their heads and their brains at home when they went to do what? When they went to vote. Kimani Wamarangi is saying that he is not going to allow the national government to take their land. So there is a big problem, and there is an Uhuru influence in that region. Uhuru has come out and declared that he's in Azimio to stay, and he wants people to look back and see where they went wrong. And Uhuru is telling them that they need to look back and see where they went wrong. Where did the rain start beating them? Because he warned them. People have been filmed praying to God and asking God to forgive them because they didn't listen to Uhuru Kenyatta, and they are now suffering. So Ruto is going there to try and neutralize the rising and growing popularity of Uhuru Kenyatta and how Uhuru is influencing that region. I don't know whether he's going to manage it. He's also going to try and get back the churches that helped him campaign. Remember, Ruto used a platform, a church platform they used to campaign for him. In fact, the other day, Pauline Njoroge was saying something very funny, that the church used to say that we have a candidate. When you listen to most of the pastors and bishops, they were saying that for the first time, we have our candidate, because Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, we were told, were given to us by God. But you've seen people like Reverend Wainaina and the at the Nyeri diocese, you've seen the other bishop, I'm forgetting, Muheria, also criticizing William Ruto, and they're saying you used the church platform, but you are not living up to your promises. And they have come out to criticize William Samoei Ruto. And so William Ruto is going to try and get back the church, so that, because he will not without the church. He still intends to use the church to campaign. And I know there's some, what Ngugi Mutai, before he switched to Ruto, used to call M-Pesa bishops, who still depend on handouts from the government to survive. Those are the only the clergy that still remain with William Ruto. So he's going to try as much as he can, if he can get a few. And William Ruto knows how to do it. He's the one who prays in meetings. He's the one who opens with prayers. He can even solo some chorus. But the church is already, suspicious of him. But it's trying to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is about 2027, and William Ruto wants to ensure that he does not lose grip of Mount Kenya. At some point, he had given up on Mount Kenya, was trying to give up, and he had switched his attention to Western. But since Raila toured that region, they have made a U-turn and they don't want to listen to William Ruto. So William Ruto is in dilemma. He is in a fix. I don't know whether people will still give him a chance to lie to them, because one thing that he's going to do, he's going to revive the class war like he did it in 2022 about the hustlers and the dynasty. This time round, he has made it very clear that it is about the poor and the rich, that the rich are supposed to pay for the new NHIF scheme, and they're supposed to pay for the affordable houses so that the poor can inherit. Something that is not really working, because the middle class are on his throat. Even as it travels to Mount Kenya, the civil servants are complaining that despite a court ruling, William Ruto still insists that he's not going to obey the courts and is going to deduct them of the money. So when he goes there, he's going to try and revive this discussion that it is Uhuru Kenyatta who sponsored court cases against his agenda, against his development program, and is going to tell them that he's creating houses for the poor in Mount Kenya, but wale mabwenyenye, people like Uhuru and them, people like Raila, are sending people to court. So, ladies and gentlemen, we wait and see. It is going to be very interesting to see this time round what Ndindi Nyoro, Kimani Chungwa, and Rigathi Gachagua is going to say, because it has to be something about Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. When they lack substance, you have to look for ways to tarnish the name, to tarnish and malign the name of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. I want to see how the hustlers are going to receive William Ruto, because in the recent past, either him or his allies have been shouted down in public rallies, as it was in Meru. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.